Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to my FlossTube channel. This is Savory Sewing. You can also find me on Instagram at Savory Sewing. A FlossTube channel is a YouTube channel where folks talk about their cross stitch, what they're stitching, what they want to stitch, what they're buying for stitching, all of those fun things. So, welcome. It is Sunday, July 28th, 2024. I think this is FlossTube. It's 29 or 30. 28. According to my list. So, and it is approximately my 1-year FlossTube anniversary. I published my first FlossTube video on July 31st, 2023. So close enough. This is 1 year, so which is absolutely crazy. I can't believe I did this for a whole year and filmed 28 videos. So very exciting. I don't have any celebratory things planned because I did not get my act together. So we'll just, this is coffee this time, not wine, which sometimes it is. So cheers. Thank you folks for hanging out and subscribing and liking and commenting and all the things. This has been super fun and hopefully I can keep it up for a few more years, which is my plan. What have I been doing in the last 2 weeks since I last filmed? Well, I will admit I'm confessing I have not watched a single episode of FlossTube. I traveled all last week. I was in Salt Lake City, Utah for work, and there was just no time for floss tubing. There was a little bit of stitching, a lot of time in the airport, and then just work, social things, and meetings, and all of that fun. We did do something super cool, though, and I will put a picture here. I don't know if this pictures are really going to capture how cool it was, but Salt Lake City, as probably many of you know, is the Great Salt Lake is salty, right? And there is a company that has built a series of evaporation ponds to basically collect the minerals that are in the Great Salt Lake. And we got to drive through their ponds and see this. And it was super cool because you just saw like piles of salts. Not all NaCl. Some of it was magnesium chloride. Some of it was, oh, I can't remember all of the minerals that were out there. But it was very cool. We saw one of their like, I don't think it was a collection pond, but just like one of their like staging ponds. Basically the water comes in from the Salt Lake and then it gets moved through these things, and as it evaporates, the salts fall out of solution, and then they go and collect them with like basically what's the word, bulldozers or other things with big scoops. Goodness gracious. I should know those words. But it's super cool. And one of the fields, the point of that was one of them, and hopefully that picture will be here. Like there's 7 feet deep of salts there, and they can drive big pieces of equipment on top of it. It was very, very cool. And the different colors. I think one of the pictures I showed or am showing, you can see the water is very green. That's because that's the color of the minerals. And then there were purpley ones. It was very cool. Yeah, that was fun. Other than that, I did go to the Midsummer Stitch, the virtual cross stitch retreat that was hosted by Lindy Stitches. That was held last weekend, which was fun. I saw some folks in various stitching rooms and did the whip speed dating. I finally found some. Whip speed dating is terrifying because you don't know who's going to pop up on the screen. So I did participate. So if those ladies are watching and not turned off by my John Deere tractor story, hello, welcome. It was super fun. I also stitched the freebie that Tiny Modernist designed. And so I actually, you know what, let's start with finishes, because that is my first finish that I'm going to show you today. I have 2 finishes, no fully finishes. So my first finish is this little guy. So this is the Midsummer Stitch freebie that you got as part of your ticket, designed by Tiny Modernist. How cute is it? I stitched it. This is the called for DMC. And the fabric is Night Sky by Fiber on a Whim. It is, I believe, 32 count. So just super little cute, simple stitch. I think I'm gonna frame it. I debated, but I think a little square white frame will be perfect. And then I can just pop it up on a shelf somewhere. Well, that's my first finish. Very cute. My understanding is that you only got that if you attended, and I don't believe it's going to be released otherwise. And I've seen some really cute other finishes on Instagram where people change the colors and what have you. And I'm a little bit regretting that I didn't rechart it in purple, but I had all the colors and I wanted to start it and I didn't really want to think about floss. So the purple ones are really awesome though. If you stitched it in purple, 2 thumbs up. Super cute. All right, next is a finish for now. This is the Stitch for Pride 2024 July motif, which was inspired by Jeffrey Gibson. And I'm stitching this as a giant spot sampler. This was designed by Dee from Dee's 20 Stitches. And here is mine, where I am so far. This is the whole piece. This is 32 count elegant from Fortnite Fabrics. And I'm gonna fold it up really quick so you can see a better shot of this month's motif. Super pretty. I really liked the green in this floss. I wish there was more green, but it's really pretty. And this was inspired by the artist Jeffrey Gibson. And the floss was dyed by Knitting Nurse Jasmine of K and Yarns. It's the dyed for floss. So there, finished for now. Excited to see what August is going to be. One more shot. I think I really like this. I need to decide. I think I'm going to turn it into a tote bag. I think this would make a really cool tote bag. Because I don't think I'm going to frame it and hang it on my wall. It's too big to be a project bag. But maybe I will pull out my bag making stuff from my stash of crafts, long forgotten, but still have all the stuff for, that we know we all have, and see if I can pull that off, because I think it would be super cool. All right, so those are my only 2 finishes. Throw that pile over there. All right, and then I've got 4 whips and then 5 new starts. I didn't have a lot of new starts at the beginning of the month, so I saved them all for basically the last 2 weeks. So my first whip that I'm working on, which will be a finish, was almost a finish before this video, but we have some stuff to do this afternoon and I didn't have time to get it done before the video because I was really hoping it was going to be a finish. But this will be a finish by the end of the day because I'm going to work on it while I edit this. And it is this. This is called Home is Where the Pants Are, or Pants Aren't, or No Pants. It's by Stitchy Little Fox. Is that correct? Home is Where the Pants Aren't. Oh, well, I believe it's Stitchy Little Fox. It will say it here. And this is where I am. You can see it's almost done. I literally need to fill in, I'm fill in this leaf and this leaf, finish this leaf, and then I need to get that color out and fix. There's 2 leaves that are missing a couple stitches. This leaf and this leaf. So it's really not a lot of work, especially now that these 2 are just fill in. And then this leaf, I need to find the color. I would say if I was going to stitch this again, every other leaf is like a different 2 combo shade of green, or like they're 2 different greens. I don't think that that is at all necessary. I probably, if I were ever to restitch this, I would make them all the same green, or just use like 2 pairs of greens rather than, I think there's like 9. Not 9, but because that's an odd number and that doesn't make sense. But for whatever reason, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 different greens in this, and I don't think that's necessary. And it just kind of made this a tedious pain in the butt to stitch. But it's almost done. Yay! I started stitching this when we moved into our new house, thinking it would be a nice housewarming sort of thing, and we've now lived in our new house for 4 years. That's okay. It's on 16. This is one of my outstanding 16 count white Aida projects that I am trying to finish stitching, or UFO, the ones that I don't like, so that I don't have to stitch on 16 count white Aida anymore. I do think there's a time and a place for 16 count white Aida, and that time and that place is no longer in my stitching repertoire. It was at one time, and now I'm just trying to get these finished. But it's super cute, and I love the peaches. Love the peaches. So that will be hopefully a finish in my next video. All right, next whip. This was pulled out because it's July, and in July, most folk, well, a lot of folks, and myself included, pull out all their Christmas whips for Christmas stitching in July, Jolly July, Christmas in July, Christmas in July, whichever flavor y'all are celebrating. And so this was my last, this was the last Christmas whip that I hadn't worked on this month. and it is covered in dog hair. Oh, that's lovely. This is Vintage Ladies. This is from a World of Cross Stitch magazine, I think, or Cross Stitcher. I think it's World of Cross Stitch. And it was based on a piece of art by Siobhan Harris, charted for the magazine by I'm not sure who. And I'm stitching it on, here it is. This is on 32 count Lugana in the color Sakura from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and I'm stitching it with all the called for DMC. And so what I worked on yesterday was I got the skirt, all the red in the skirt done. So I still need to fill in some of these white flowers here, but that skirt is done up to there. And then I just need to do then the rest of the lady. And there's a rug here, and then I'm debating on the back stitching. There's some words. So I don't dislike them. I just don't know if I want to stitch them. And I've been started back stitching. The reason there's threads here is I started back stitching this skirt, and this skirt is like insane in the back stitching. And then I'm waiting till I get this lady's legs done before I bring the rug around so I don't have to count as much. But I really like this. So this is now, this is actually on WIPGO called for August. So she'll get 3 more days. And I think in 3 days, if I can get, caveat, good days in August, I can get this finished, or at the very least get it really, really close so I can finish it this December, which would be lovely because I believe this is a 2020, this is a 2021 or a 2022 WIP. Let's see. I've got my list in front of me. Yeah, this is a 2021 WIP, so it would be nice to get this done. So that was the last of the holiday pieces that I hadn't touched this month, and so I actually accomplished that goal. I haven't been good about getting all of my WIPs touched in the last couple themes, or at least not in June, I think. So it's good that I got that one done. Sorry for the crinkling, reorganizing the things. The next is another magazine pattern. This is from Just Cross Stitch, and I believe it is the, is it Just Cross Stitch? Did I write it down? I didn't write it down. Anyway, this is a magazine. It should say right here which one it's from. This is a Barbara Anna piece. This is called Winter Stitching. And here is where I am. I got a lot done. I think I showed this in my last video, and I didn't have the circle closed, and so I finished this, and then I put a bunch more of those white snowflakes in, and oh, I think it looks really good in the camera. Those snowflakes are really, really looking beautiful on this fabric. I would like to get this done. This is also an older WIP. This is a 2021 WIP as well. This one didn't make it on my WIPGO board because I was optimistic that I was going to finish it in January, and it didn't need to go on my WIPGO board. And here it is the end of July, and it is not done, but it's close. This is a 32 count sparkle gray linen from Zweigart. The called for was like a neutral, like beigey color. And so I think in my last video I had said that this was the called for DMC. It is not the called for DMC. I switched the leaves are a darker shade of gray so that they would show up better on this fabric. I think they called, the difference was like, I think it's called for like 415 and I stitched it in 414 or vice versa. And the reds are darker. The gray is 3799, which was called for. But I do really like this. And I think I could get it finished really quickly. Or I should be able to. It's actually, the snowflakes take a little longer than I thought. But I need to basically stitch these little houses here. Need to get finished. And then there's some snowflakes in here that need to get done, and the spool needs to get done. This little snowman needs his accessories. But closer, getting closer. I don't know if this will get finished this month. We'll see. There's only 3 more days in July, and I don't know what my plans are yet. I have an idea, but I don't know. Okay, so that was WIP number 3, and then my last WIP is not holiday themed at all, or winter themed. It is this. This is Twilight Nature Walk from Sprouting Lupine Designs. I started this in May, I believe, maybe June. So I haven't been working on it very long. I'm almost done. I stitched this a lot on the plane when I was traveling last week or 2 weeks ago. And here it is. Hang on, everything I have right now is like this purple. Look at that. Even my nails. My nails match my cross stitch. Love it. Okay, so here is where I am. I'm stitching this on Gray Mauve Lugana from, is this Swigert as well? I can't remember. I believe it's Swigert. And all the called for DMC. And so I think all I need to do is finish. I think there's a flower here that needs to get finished, a flower here, and there's a big bug down here. You can see his little antenna are already in. And I love this. I love all of these patterns. They are so cute. But I got to finish this one first before I can start another. So those were all my whips. And now on to the new starts. I guess technically Midsummer Stitch was a start and finish, but I stitched all last weekend. But the rest of these have basically been started in the last week. Here's the pile. All right, so the first one is a start for Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe's 40th birthday. Hashtag Hello 40 B-Day Sal. And this is Autumn Cloche from Hello from Liz Mathews. She had asked that folks stitch Hello from Liz Mathews pieces, hence Hello 40, Hello from Liz Mathews. She's a big fan. We're all big fans, right? And I decided to pull this out and start it. I had it kitted up, and so it just needed some motivation. I am stitching mine on, there's a piece of thread there. This is, I believe, 36 count Bramble from, hold on, who's Bramble? Great question, Elizabeth. Bramble. Picture This Plus. And so, I had folded this neatly. Anyway, giant piece of fabric. This is a big pattern. I guess I knew that because I saw the numbers and then I started stitching it and realized it was going to be huge. I did a center start and this is where I am. I started with a flower in the middle. So not very exciting, not to the fun pumpkins or the cool cloche yet or any of that stuff, but little flower. And then here are my flosses. They are just a mix of overdyes. I believe it's all charted in DMC. Is it charted? It's charted in DMC, I believe. And NPI silks. And I just pulled overdyed. So I've got a mix of Roxy Floss, Forbidden Fiber Co., Pirate Robin, and maybe some Classic Colorworks, yeah. So just a mix of things. I still might switch the purples, the pinks to purples. That's why there's this dark purple in here. This is kind of the tone I'm going for is these gray or purples. But I haven't gotten to those yet, so I'm going to stitch and just keep going and then pull colors when I'm ready. But that's where I am. I worked on this. I think I started this last weekend during Midsummer Stitch. And got a decent amount done. I might, actually it looks fine. I was thinking when I was looking at this fabric, so these are, the grays on Bramble are a little bit more blue gray, and the leaf colors are definitely, like these are pretty close, even though they're overdyes, to the DMCs. And they're a little bit more in the yellow green. So I was thinking maybe I should change them, but honestly, I think they look fine. So I'm not going to stress about it. All right, so that was new start number 1. New start number 2 is a Christmas start. So the next 3 are the next 3 Christmas starts. They are. So the next one, this is Hibernation Day by Heartstring Samplery. And I'm stitching this with the Roxy Floss, which were gifted to me by Frala Knit Stephanie for my birthday back in March. Thank you so much. And I'm stitching this on Fox and Rabbit paper bark. So here are the gorgeous flosses. Since I have them, I will show them off. The Roxy Floss conversion is very pretty. And this is, I got a tiny little start. I did start this on the 25th of July. And it is on a giant piece of fabric. So I'm going to, because it's a very, very long piece. And I started in the center on the roof. And I got part of the roof done, which is, I think it's showing up okay. And the little chicken, bird, chicken, and then the words. I wanted to get a bunch of the colors in so I could see how they looked on this fabric, because this fabric is very yellow in this light. I might restart it, not because I don't like the fabric, but because I did something, I mismeasured. And for whatever reason, I thought it was 13 inches wide, and it's like 6 inches wide. And so I decided to do a center start because I was concerned and figured I was going to use the whole fabric anyway. And then I realized, well, it's really only like this wide. And then I've got basically a 6-inch margin on either side, and that's completely unnecessary. There's no sense in using, I could stitch, you know, I could fit it all on half of this piece of fabric and then still have the other half left. So that's only a day of stitching. It's not that much. It might be worth it, given how big this is, to just restart it and then frog that later. Because what I'll probably do is I'll start from the bottom, work my way up, and then frog when I get here, because I hate frogging. And if I frog it first and then start stitching, I'll never stitch on it again. So I'm debating how much I care about wasting fabric. And I mean, I care a bit, but I don't know if I care enough. But I haven't stitched that much, so it's probably worth it to frog it and restart it. Unfortunately, but super cute. I'm really excited to stitch this. And there's all of it. I think the fabric color is good. Okay, that was my second new start. That was a planned new start, so I had 24 new starts planned for 2024, and that was my second planned start for what month is this? July. Next, I started this. This is the 4th Day of Christmas, also by Hello from Liz Mathews. I'm trying to stitch all of the series, and I'm stitching them all on the same fabric, and I started this on the 26th, I think. This is where I got. So I did a center start because I really wanted to get into that really heavy stitching section where that Joy to the World sign is, because I figure it's going to be a tedious pain in the butt to stitch because it's basically full coverage. And so if I start there and then I put in like a line of full coverage, I can go stitch something fun, and then I can go back and forth. So that's where I am. I'm stitching this on 40 count fog, also by Picture This Plus. I'm stitching all of them on 40 count fog, and actually I have them all here. So this is what I have done so far. So here's the 1st Day of Christmas, which is the partridge and pear tree. And I think I stitched this in 2022. I might have finished it in 2023. And then the 2nd Day of Christmas I finished last year because it's got the date on it, and it's 2 turtle doves. And I put in my partner's initials and my initials and a little J and a paw print for our dog, because we didn't have enough initials to put on all the little houses, and so I just adjusted the little windows so they looked cute. And then the 3rd Day of Christmas I just finished earlier this year, 3 French hens. Super pretty. I really like the blues. I'm glad that I like that the blues are coming in, and you can see that there I started stitching some more bluebirds in the 4th day. So I've got 3 done. Started number 4. I'll show that one again. That one's got a lot of stitching, so I got a lot of work to do, but it's started. So that is half the battle, is getting these started. So, and I have enough fabric purchased to stitch 9 of them. I realized I bought, I think, a fat half or a fat quarter of fog, and I've just been cutting it into some pieces of appropriate sizes as I go. And so, yeah. Those are all my new starts. I feel like that's not a ton of stitching, but it is a ton of stitching. Oh, let's do a haul. So I do have a bit of haul. My fabric of the months came, and then I got enabled. I was good though. I resisted all of the Christmas and July sales that all of the various cross stitch shops were having. I don't need any more Christmas patterns or patterns, period. So I was proud of myself for that, but I did get sucked into something else. I do have 2 pieces of fabric from my fabrics of the month that came. This is from Forbidden Fiber Co. The color is called Rainbow Sherbet. This is crazy. Maybe not crazy. Crazy for me. There's a lot of color going on. It's super pretty. I don't know what I would stitch on it. I feel like it's very, as I throw it on the floor, it might be good for like a fun fairy, if I was a fairy stitcher, or something springy, but it's very pretty. Also got my fabric of the month from BeStitchme, and the color is Coconut Shell. Now, for something completely different from what I just showed you, is this fabric. It's super pretty as well. I feel like if y'all follow the Artsy Housewife on Instagram, I feel like some of her new patterns are stitched on something very similar. So very pretty. I like it a lot. I feel like it's giving me like fall or witchy vibes, which you know I like. All right, next haul. So I am in Tracy Horner of Ink Circles Patreon, and she posted in her Patreon that she had a bunch of floss that she couldn't design with anymore because it was from floss dyers who were out of business or no longer dyed or what have you, so she couldn't use it for dyeing and she wanted to get rid of it. And so she was selling floss packs at what I thought was a reasonable amount for what you ended up getting, and then she threw in some goodies as well. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to hold this up like this and show you this mountain of floss. So I bought two, oops, one just fell, and then I organized them. They weren't in rainbow color like this. Each pack probably had some color that was representative, like the whole rainbow. And then I rearranged them. So I don't know which one came in which pack. And I don't think I got any duplicates, which is nice. Or not nice. I don't know. They're all very pretty. There's a couple colors I actually wouldn't mind having more of. But I also got, so this is, I think Needle Necessities is the former Threadworks. So this is a nice little hank of floss. And then a lot of them are from Carrie's Creations, which I'd never heard of as a dyer. Let me see. I think I'm just going to show you my favorites, which will come as no surprise to y'all that they are the purples and the greens. But this one, these two are really pretty. I really like this one. I would love more of this. This is called, there's no name, but look at that. So pretty. This is called Soot. This one's called Lavender Dusk. And then there are two darker purples also with no names. So pretty. And then this color is really pretty too. This is like a green black variegated. Yeah, they're just super pretty. And then in each of them, she also threw some other goodies. So I got a nice little collection of Ink Circles patterns as well. So we'll hopefully be stitching some of these. Yeah, very exciting. That was my only impulse buy this month, which I was proud of. All right. And when I went to Salt Lake City, I was hoping to get a chance to go to Shepherd's Bush, but we were in Salt Lake City proper, and I didn't have a good way of getting to Ogden, so that didn't happen, but that's okay. Plans. So it is July 28th. There's 3 days left in July. And my plans are to finish that pattern I showed you earlier, my no pants. So it should be doable. Just a reminder. I just need to finish those leaves. 1, 2. Which one was I working on just now? 1, 2. Oh no, I'm filling in this one right now. So fill in, stitch, and then fix those 2 spots. So should be doable hopefully today. I did all my other starts. I do need to put one more day in on one of my WIPGO goals, which, where did I put that? I'll put a picture here. Actually, no, I won't, because this is the one where I don't have a good picture of it. Anyway, it's called Don't Be Scared. It's that, it's a haunted house piece from Just Cross Stitch 2020 that I've been working on for 3 years. And so that needs one more day. And so I think I should be able to get a couple hours of stitching in on that, so I can check that off the list. My other WIPGO goal I actually don't see getting done because I am 90% sure I'm gonna UFO it. It's the Pro Choice Cell from Notorious Needle, which I love everything about the sentiment of it. I just, again, it's on 16 count weight, and I just can't stitch it. So I think what I'm gonna do is UFO it, and then I'd like to stitch one of the smaller motifs on different fabric, just so I have stitched something of it, so I have a piece of it. I just don't want to stitch it anymore. I have another new start that, where is it? That didn't get shown to you, which that reminded me of. I started one more thing. All right, out of order, one more new start. Last month, or last video, I showed some of the patterns that were designed after the Supreme Court well, they overturned the Chevron doctrine. And so Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor in her dissent said, with fear for our democracy, I dissent. And a number of designers charted that. And so I stitched one that was charted by Julian Stitches 16. And then I started this one that Michelle from Bendy Stitchy Designs charted. And so that's where I am. I've got with fear for our democracy, and then I've worked on the border. And so this is on, I can't remember what the fabric is, but you can see it's this pretty blue gray, and I'm stitching it with Fog by Pirate and Robin. And that's where I am. So another new start that I forgot about, which brings me into my other plan, as I think it comes as no surprise to folks who've been watching my channel that, well, given that I've stitched this, and if you've been around for a while, you know that I'm a liberal Democrat in living in a blue state. And like many of us, I am psyched about Kamala Harris. And so I'm trying to decide what I want to stitch in support of that. I know Rebel Stitchers Designs has a pattern out. I'll put a picture in here that she, if you make a donation to the campaign or what have you, you can get this. A couple, well, I guess it must have been 4 years ago, Julie from Kansas City Girl in Colorado World actually has a Kamala Harris pattern picture here. And this is available on her Gumroad from her stitch company, Hemlock and Rye. And so I'm debating also stitching this. She had charted multiple phrases. One that said, "I'm speaking," which was from the vice presidential debate from that year, I believe, when she was spoken over by the vice presidential candidate from, was that Mike? Is it Mike Pence? I don't remember. I think it was Pence again. Just another forgettable man. And she also has one where she charted Madam Vice President. So I'm debating doing that and then putting an X through Vice, just because I'm psyched for the potential to have our very first female president of the United States, among myriads of other things, reasons why I'm excited. So that's also in the plans. I just haven't decided which one I want to stitch, so hopefully you will see that going forward. I also have 2 new starts planned as part of 2024 and 2024, or 24 and 2024. Gosh, 2,000 new starts in 1 year. Is that even like physically possible? I don't know. I will start the Stitch for Pride August piece when that gets released, but my other planned new starts are these. This is Scissor Sampler from Tellin Emblem. And I don't think I have anything exciting to show. I just worked on pulling floss colors for this yesterday. So this is the fabric. This is Buckwheat from Forbidden Fiber Co. Just a nice neutral. And then, goodness gracious, there are a lot of flosses in this pattern. Holy crap. And I just started pulling some Roxy and some DMC. I pulled all the DMC and then I started pulling colors. And so I think I'm gonna stitch it in mostly Roxy floss, just because I have all these beautiful flosses and I just want to use them. The other thing I'm going to do is in the photo, the greens are leaning towards more yellow green, and I want to make them a little bit more of these colors. And so these are 3 flosses that I'm gonna sub in. These pinks are pretty true to the called for, but rather than using like, I think it was like 3021 and 371, which are more of a mustardy green, these are in the more like 502, 503 ranges. If you've got your DMCs in front of you, and they're just really pretty. So I don't know if I'll change anything else. I've just got some of the DMCs here for like the basic colors, but that's the plan. I will start this sometime in August. And it is living in this bag I made myself. I believe this is Ruby Star fabric. How pretty it is. All right, and then my other new start that I have planned for August is another sort of sewing themed pattern. This is with, it's called Needle in Hand. This is an exclusive to Acorns and Threads, which is a local needlework shop in Portland, Oregon, which technically is my local needlework shop. It's about an hour-ish from my house. And this was the pattern from one of the retreats a few years ago. And so you can only get this from Acorns. And I'm stitching it on, I did not taking this out. This is Ginger Root from Forbidden Fiber Co., which is this another nice neutral. It looks like it's charted on like there's like a little bit of blue in this. It's like a light blue. I don't have any light blue in my collection, so I just went with neutral. And I've just pulled all the DMC, and they're just living in this little Ziploc bag right now. So I think I'm going to stitch it very close to I'm either going to stitch it in all the called for. The only other thing I might do is, you saw those Roxy flosses that I pulled for a scissor sampler. I might sub out the 502, which is, I believe, this big leaf and the words, with the over dyed. And I might even just use the same palettes for both of these. I haven't decided yet. Sorry for the reflection, but hopefully I put a nice photo in here as well, so you'll get a better idea what this looks like. It's not a very big piece, and I don't know if, you know, there's some parts of it, looking at the pattern, that like over dyes aren't going to make much difference, which is why I'm cool doing it in the DMC. Plus I have them. And this is actually, I'm really proud of this bag. Look at this bag. How cute is that? This is a pattern from Heart and Hand. No, Hands On Design, sorry. And these fabrics are from Lori Holt. I just love these big roses and these little scissors, right? Little scissors. And so I actually picked these fabrics, and then I pulled the DMCs to match. If you've ever stitched a Lori Holt pattern, cross stitch pattern or a quilt pattern, she's got a color palette, and so you can pretty easily figure out which DMCs are going to match her quilt fabrics. And then I turned it into a bag. There are directions for the bag in the pattern. So super cute. All right, so those are my planned new starts, and I think that's really all I have for Stitchy plans for the next month. I'll finish my July plans, and then those are my August new starts. Oh, in August, my overarching theme is to stitch flowers and garden themed things, because August is garden month in my mind. My garden is out of control right now. Since I've been traveling and it's been hot here, I have not been giving it the love it deserves, so it's a little raggedy. So I'm hoping to really get in there and do the deadheading and the cleaning up that needs to be done, and also stitch on all my garden themed cross stitch patterns. And I think I've already made a list. I have quite a few. I have like 8 or 10. So hopefully all of those will get a day or so this month. Those things will get started that I just showed you, and then who knows what else will come along. Oh, I did buy a stitch along that starts in August. It's from Vine Frog Stitching. It's called Plants in Petrichor, which fits the theme. It's got plants on it. And so that, I believe the first drop is August 2nd. And I don't think I have any other plans. I think that's enough. Also, I need to go watch a bunch of FlossTube. I have been rereading, but listening to the Discovery of Witches All Souls books. The new one was just released, I think, this month, and I had planned on listening to them so that I was ready for the new one when it released, and that didn't happen. So I have been listening to those, and that has been taking up a lot of my time. And we're also redoing our deck, and so listening to audiobooks while pressure washing is actually very satisfying. We have a big deck, which is nice, but it is taking me probably 20 hours to pressure wash the whole thing. It was also very dirty, so that doesn't help. Anyway, I am rambling now, so I am going to say goodbye. And oh, one more thing. My next video will not be a usual FlossTube video. A year ago, I started, my first video, as I said, was I started this channel on July, and my second video was a whip parade. So my next video will be a whip parade because it will be approximately a year after my first whip parade, and it'll be interesting to see how many of the whips from whip parade number 1 are still in existence in whip parade number 2, and how many more whips do I have now? Or at least I will be interested. Hopefully you all will be too. So with that, now I am done, and I hope you all have are having a great end of your July and early August, and I will see you all in 2 weeks with Whip Parade. Thank you, folks. Happy stitching. Bye.